Is that?
Of course, that's how it is.
That's
Because
the way
all
it
day
works.
long, the bond market was on fire, or the stock market.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we better watch, because the bond market's taking a beating, and today, boom. What do you
So
see?
what?
Is the stock market up today?
It's about the same. I
Is
didn't
it?
really look, but I mean, I watch.
Okay, so-
And that's all.
You're right.
I'll start. Is there any issues that anybody wants to talk about in the real estate market right now that they're like, oh, I gotta share this at roundtable? Anybody? Anybody have any issues going on that they want to discuss first before I get started?
I do know, just from looking at like my neighborhood,
Yeah.
I'm seeing really nice homes priced right that are still on the market,
Yeah.
and that shocks me.
What was that, sir?
I live in Park Vista Estates, and I've seen a couple listings that are priced really, really good, and they're in really nice shape, and they haven't sold yet. It's only been a couple weeks, and that just really surprises me that because our neighborhood's very different. You can have a back garage, you can, and some do, so it doesn't take long if you're priced right. And right now, nothing's moving over there at all.
They heard you live there.
No, I took my name off the assessor
Off the mailbox?
list. Off the assessor's list. I told him I was an
Oh,
undercover
cop.
agent. Yes. I'm a
Well.
secret Russian spy.
We won't tell you if you are.
Well, what Rory was saying that he's losing deals right and left,
Yeah,
right,
got
Rory?
A few terminations. It's just a rough month right now for me.
Like, what are the reasons? It's not insurance.
One was assuming a VA loan. They didn't want to do that. I forget what the other ones are, but that's the main one.
I mean, the last 5 years, you couldn't do an inspection. I mean, you didn't have the ability because things were flying off the market. Buyers weren't able to object to anything in the home.
Yeah, it was.
Or they
So
lose
it
the
was
deal,
like,
right?
You lose
So
the
now
deal.
things
If
are
you
falling
object,
out.
you lose. So
Yeah.
now people are like, oh,
Well,
I don't like that.
You
Yeah.
couldn't lose
Mhm.
on an objection. They can't walk away.
What?
They're just not gonna do anything.
They just back out of the
I had another
Now
one
it's
with the
normal, things are
townhouse
falling
too,
out.
where the buyer,
Yeah.
like 2 days
Yeah.
after signing, the buyers got cold feet.
Because they come talk to a lender.
Or an insurance person too,
Insurance,
and,
yeah.
or something in it, and then they back out.
After signing the contract, or?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I blame the lender on that.
Yeah, if you don't know
They
your
should've
payment
known.
before you.
Or
write
they
it.
may not have had one too, right? Like,
Well, why would you go under contract with that? How'd you get?
oh
under
yeah, that's
contract?
true, they did have one.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had several fall apart, and it's over the inspection. The inspection objection comes, and the seller's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm selling as is. Tell them that, because they're still in that mindset that their house is worth this, and that everybody should pay this, and that they shouldn't have to do anything. And then all of a sudden, the buyers, if there's 10 things, and you say I'll do 5, they walk away.
Mhm.
And I'm going,
Right.
I don't know. I literally, until I'm blue in the face, I'm telling people, you guys, this is not a seller's market. Yeah, you have to take it. It's a bird in the hand. Oh, I'm sure another one's coming, and it's like, no. And it's brutal out there. So I think we're definitely entering into a huge buyer's market, I think.
And does that mean
But-
that some of those people then go, well, I'll just go buy a new build? Is that what?
I wouldn't say
No.
that, sir.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Although they offer some killer incentives.
Right? Like,
yeah,
The rates, I mean, I've seen some people.
but you still have to put
Yeah.
shutters and blinds in.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Oh, no, I always bring it up.
Yeah.
HOAs.
I saw somebody advertising 3.75 Premier Homes. Did you see that on TV? By the way, no APR
No,
listed on that.
They have a big,
Which is
trailer
illegal, right?
right on the corner of.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of
Yeah,
that.
you'd have to.
Oh yeah, no,
On the
there's nothing.
commercial.
I pass it to my kids' soccer thing.
Oh, I'm talking about
Yeah,
on
no.
TV.
They advertise in the PPAR too, like all the flyers that come. They don't have any APR. They don't have.
Aren't you
The
required
builder
to have
owns
that?
the lender.
Yeah, anytime you
and-
quote a rate, you've gotta give all the details.
Yeah, fees, APRs.
That's
all
why I
BS.
hate when someone says something, whatever. Can you do an open house? Can you put these flyers together, show the payment and this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
the disclaimer's really just,
Yeah.
Kill-
it's
kill-
not worth it.
It's not a one size fits all.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's misleading.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What is marketing, right? You see a TV commercial, come get that car now for 1.99%, blah, blah. And then you
Yeah.
get there, they pull your credit, and it turns out to be 6.99% for,
Or
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
6.99 is a good rate.
but we all know that's a teaser rate,
You just
right? Up to this amount off, 75% off, up to, right? So I don't see what the problem would be, because I was just talking to another realtor was going, hey, I really feel like that our marketing has to be, we can't, how they say it, I don't want to mislead anybody. He wants to go in the door, he wants to show the house as it is, blah, blah, blah. If there's anything, that's how they see it. And I said, no, that's not your job. Your job is to get people in the door.
Just to get 'em-
Even if it's only picking, you have 50 pictures from the photographer and a video and all stuff like that, and you go, well, you know what, I'm going to put 12 in there because really these 12 are the best. Because I look at it as the front picture when they're scrolling through different houses. There's that front picture, and they go, oh, click. They they see that capture, right? Then they have 5 more pictures that they might make it through. And then that gets them to the next 5 pictures that they might make it through. So when you look at the first 5 pictures are the bathroom and the toilet's open with the lid open and blah, blah, blah. And they're, I finally get to the kitchen after the 10th or 12th. They're not going to get anybody in that door because they don't make it to the 12th picture. They got to have that first 5. So they're going to be completely out of sequence. Kitchen, living room, open space, the bar, whatever. It just looks amazing, and it gets them to the next 5. They finally peter out. So I look at that as that's not misleading. That's me doing my job.
Yeah, we're just
But
talking
the
about.
lending world is
It's
different.
different.
That is actually illegal.
Yeah.
Wait, but
You
isn't
gotta
it
have
as
the
low
details.
as?
No, it doesn't say that. It says 3.75 with no APR on the commercial. So it's
After
illegal.
advertising
after
APR.
Dodd-Frank, I mean, we had to start. I mean, it's very restrictive on what we have to include with our advertised with our advertised rates payments.
Oh, I got all
Okay.
kinds of
But it's
ideas to
pretty
bring
easy to
people in.
generalize that
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
though, right?
Free mortgage.
Wait, what?
Right?
That's
Or-
my best.
or
That's my
houses.
best.
Wait, hold
friend.
on.
No
Hold on.
fees.
He's-
Free house.
Yeah, free house.
Garage
Yeah.
is $750,000.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Daniel?
But it should be pretty easy to generalize, like based on the average credit score, the average APR,
So
You
this
don't
is
think so,
different.
or-
No, this is completely different. So this is. I don't have any ownership in Classic Homes, right? So, but Classic Homes may have ownership in a mortgage company.
Well, they do.
As they do.
Exactly.
It's
And
called
so
Classic Mortgage.
they can now pre-purchase a whole bundle of mortgage-backed securities, say $10 million worth of stuff. So they can decide what level of risk they're going to fit into that. But they still have to advertise the same thing, right? So,
Right.
so they're. You're recording this.
Oh, it probably is. You're not gonna be able to hear your
So I
voice.
use Traylon Homes.
Traylon, yeah.
So they are owned by Mortgage Solutions, Freedom Financial, whoever, Rob Clinton, Roy.
They
Clinton.
changed their name because of a lawsuit.
Exactly. So they have ownership in each other, right? So when you go to the $500,000 home and you buy it for what really should be a $500,000 home, but you buy it for $575, and they give you $60,000 worth of incentives for the mortgage. They're making their money on the home, but they've oversold you a home for $75,000. So if you go to put it back on the market tomorrow, like we as realtors, right, to go resell it, we're like, well, shit, we can't sell this for $500,000, so you're overbought. So the short sale cycle that you're seeing now, that's go look at see
But
where
don't they
it
still
is.
have to get an appraisal, or are they waiving the appraisals?
No, they're getting appraisals.
They
so
got
that
the
they-
appraised value. So this is
You only need is one
Yep.
to go, and
So
then they all go.
They set the price.
So
they were
They set the
concessions,
price in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
concessions are supposed to
Because all the comps.
theoretically come off the
Just-
appraised value.
They just
Yeah.
sold
They're
all
all-
the.
But they
That's
don't.
why
They
as
don't.
they're going to filing 1, filing 2, filing 3, they're kind of raising the price, raising
That's
the price,
right.
raising the price, raising the price.
Yeah.
And if you have a home in a neighborhood, let's say you get PCS orders, you gotta leave in a year, you didn't know about it. try to compete against that new build that's still going up and they're offering those incentives.
Absolutely.
You're not selling that house.
After you've got a 3.3 funding
Yeah.
fee tacked
Yeah.
on there, and you
Right.
gotta pay realtor fees, title fees, all this stuff.
So they end
Right.
up renting if they can.
Go buy a Lorson Ranch,
Oh.
but
Right.
don't plan to leave.
Oh. Yeah, there's some deals there right now.
I think, like-
Yeah.
You're gonna be there a while.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do really is, from the realtor perspective and then from the lender perspective, is make peace with the advertising rules, because like I was driving by these new developments, these townhomes that are, they came up on Delta in Shelton. I don't know if you guys been around there. There's that Wendy's on there, South Academy in Shelton area. Right a street over on Delta, there's a new development of townhomes, and they're pretty affordable. They're around 300,000 for some of the starter homes in there. And I saw their banner say as low payments as low as 18 something or 18, 19 something a month. And I thought that's gonna get people in there, because why? People are consumers and they only understand it, especially their first time buyers or
But as low as is what the key is,
You know.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Still
Could
supposed
But
to
you still
have-
gotta have some,
Right.
how did you
Gets them
calculate
in the door
that?
for sure.
Well, you can say
Huh?
as low as.
Get them in the door for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, right.
1,500,
And
you
you'll
just
see
got
more.
buttons
149
down
and
the
the
bunch.
149 down and the
Yeah.
payment on the window.
Yeah.
You'll see more of that now
Yeah.
that the CFPP's dissolved. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
There's
There'll
nobody
be people
enforcing
taking
it,
chances
so
left and right.
Yeah.
Same on their taxes, the IRS, like they're like, shit, I'm writing this off
write
now.
it off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm serious.
So I met a bartender in Brooklyn, New York, who's from Woodland Park. And her parents might want to sell because they're at 9,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, here's my card. I work Teller County too. I've worked there for 3 years. I can help them out, I'll take care of them. I said, if nothing else, have them call me. Then I can ride off my entire trip to New York.
Yeah, that's right.
100%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah.
The margins during COVID for new construction, builders were making 40 to 45% on their deal. That's a huge margin. The
Yeah.
normal margins on new construction is anywhere from 10 to 20, depending on the neighborhood. They're way back in there, right? They're in that category now. So that's why they're willing to do all they can to
The
get
custom
rid of some of
guys
these
even
homes.
less.
Mm.
Yeah. But,
Wow.
and you all know, 80% of the buyers during COVID regret their purchase. They feel like they
Absolutely.
rushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was opportunity.
Well, it's because they were flush with cash at that time.
Which is
Everybody was
crazy.
flush with cash.
Those tax checks weren't that much, you know what I mean? Like, where'd they get all this? Because they weren't traveling, they weren't buying stuff. But then they started buying online. Everybody was shocked. Man, Amazon boomed, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
They cleaned up.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
And so, I wonder if the builders are going to add a tariff fee. I've been getting tariff fees, and I'm really pissed off
Walmart
because.
has it, and neither has GM. But I don't know about the builders.
The Polk
Okay.
tariff.
GM's
Yeah.
like
There was a Polk
90,000 engines they're recalling
You just have to pay it
from
once.
19 to 23.
Oh, are they really?
So good luck if you get a
Well-
engine.
Is it a
Who is?
6.2 liter? That's mine.
This
Who
a
is?
big one. GM
Yeah.
Gas or a diesel?
gas.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where
Duramax,
I
baby.
see on the news one day the first ship arrives paying the tariffs, like the first ship, and that was like last week or something. And then I had already purchased some stuff, and they added like a $90 tariff fee or something on there. And I was like, okay, well, I'm okay with paying that, until I found out that the first ship just arrived, like 2 days later. Like, I feel like people are charging those tariffs
Yeah.
already without even knowing what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Oh,
none
it
of-
ticks me off so
and none
bad.
of those trade deals are finalized either, like none of them, so how do we know?
And they come
Right,
back
exactly.
more.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least I know one ship arrived that paid tariffs.
What
Yeah.
was it that you got charged a tariff fee
Pens.com. I went and ordered more pens and stuff for my business and everything, and
Pez, the candy?
PENS, pens and pads of paper and stuff with my logo.
They came from China.
And each one had a tariff fee, like $35 on that one, $28 on that one. I was going,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know if I agree with that, but I agree with it if there are the tariffs, but if they're not really charging, and there's one ship that came in with tariffs, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying to get me for a little bit
Sure.
more money,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
And it's probably a political statement, you know, they're using it, the political statement as their profits, you know, increasing their profits when that's not exactly true,
Right.
you know? Yep, pretty
I read an
interesting.
article on that or something. They said, well, why didn't they show that when inflation went up to 9-10%? Why didn't they show that extra cost on there separate?
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah, that is, yeah.
You know,
Huh.
to say honesty, it's such a lonely
Yeah.
Really
Were you in New
tall.
York, right? It's all this Billy Joel stuff.
word. That's why I just came from New York. 52nd Street.
So,
That's a cool trip.
another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, you remember last week we said there could be, it's $6 per month per $1,000 in payment, and then you guys said something about debt, and I forgot it already, and I need to write it down.
Same
It was like,
equation.
it was
In
50,
reverse.
Similar.
50,
It's close, but
Becomes
it's
10,000.
close.
it was 10,000
For $50.
I always
For
say,
every 50
just to
bucks, right?
simplify it for buyers.
for
I
every
always
$10,000 of debt.
say,
I can't
for
remember.
every $50 a month in payment changes your.
That's
buying
what it
power
is, every
by
$50 in
10%.
payment.
No, it was the same. It wasn't the debt part.
I wasn't here, so.
Yeah, so for every $50 a month in debt, it changes your buying power by, call it $10,000.
Can you
More than that.
believe that?
It's probably more than that right now, but.
Get that Rocket Mortgage out,
That
man.
extends
You'll be
to
able to buy a
income
house.
ratios.
For 75 subscriptions.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Your income.
Changes your
So I
earnings.
just
Based
took
on
a-
the average income.
I just took a loan application yesterday, they make, combined, they make $46,000 a month,
A month?
and then, but their output is $22,000 a month. So
40%.
you're right out of the gate before you tack a house on it.
Wait, so what Scott had something that was on that because they were talking at the same time, but I want everybody to hear it. You said if somebody has a $500 car payment,
Right.
it decreases their buying power for a house by $100,000.
That's a good
So
number.
That is
to remember.
ridiculous.
Average car payment is.
It's
Average-
$1,000.
the average
Yeah,
car-
I'll say
You know what? You get rid of the car
Average car
payment.
payments.
I know.
You
Get
can
rid of
afford
the
a
car.
bigger house, and you don't need a garage, 'cause you don't have a car.
$100,000.
The average,
You
the
better
average
Yeah.
used car
It's not-
payment
You ain't
is,
going nowhere.
it's
I know,
like
I took out
Wait.
downtown.
Wait, hold on, listen, what?
So the average used car payment is about $542,
Uh-huh.
543 something, I forget. The average new car payment is a little under 750. It was like 748, but that's only because it's an 84-month term. If we had normal 60-month terms, it'd be well over $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not seeing any car.
So that could be a $200,000.
Paying $1,000, $1,200.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. Yeah.
So $1,000 payment,
Yeah.
200,000 in purchase power.
Yeah.
And then all
You
these
want the
people
car or
complain
a house?
that they can't
That's-
afford a
Take that
house.
car.
Yeah.
But they're paying the same.
You live in the
rent.
car.
I can't
But it
afford
sure
a
is
house.
Take care of your hockey
You know,
gear.
the first time in a house, I can't afford it.
That's gonna break down on you anyway, so.
My whole life.
Uh, Okay. So everybody complains they can't afford a house. I heard that. Let's break down, because this is so good. This is so good. This is great information for our buyers. When people are complaining they can't buy a house, what do you guys take as a debt? Like, you don't take a Netflix as a debt, or what do you take as debt to count towards that buying power?
It's whatever's on the credit report,
Mhm.
plus child support or alimony, stuff like that. It's not on the credit report. So those are the big ones. Yeah.
Very infrequently do we find some sort of
Hidden.
undisclosed debt.
Yeah,
So if you've got a soldier that's got an LES with
An allotment
those
coming out,
allotments,
we have to verify where they're
gotta
going.
make sure we know where that is.
Okay, so
Or-
anything technically on the credit report, and do you guys take the payment on the credit report, or do you take the payment from the application, and do you guys verify? Because like a credit card fluctuates.
Just from the credit report. It's what's on the credit report. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever see on the credit report, because like I use my Visa, but I pay it off every month, but occasionally I check my credit on Credit Karma, and it says I have like a $4,000 balance, and I'm like, I have a zero balance, but it shows up as that. Do Do you take that?
We have that conversation daily, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
I pay that off every month. Well, right now you got a $15,000 balance.
That's how mine
on it.
goes.
And then like
all the
adjust, and then
time.
it adjusts like every month or something
that-
like
But you
that.
use
Right.
what's on the credit.
It
card.
does, and they report
Huh?
like the
Oh,
Even if you
so
pay off-
unbelievable.
except
That
for
could hurt
yours.
me.
Amex is different.
Just
American
paying off
Express
stuff.
Then it goes back up.
Can be a little different.
So I just paid
If you
off a
have the
bunch of
reserves.
credit cards.
Yeah.
And we never saw a finance charge, so it was due, and my credit rating went from 780 to 805
Mhm.
because
Uh-huh.
I paid about $7,000
So you-
of credit card
Most
debt.
creditors good
But it
report
wasn't-
revolving credit between between the first and the 10th usually is what you're going to see. So if you pay it off on the first, it's probably going to be about the 10th or after before it reflects
Yeah.
as a zero balance.
Really?
But it's never. I mean, it's a snapshot in time. You never know.
It's horrible.
You never probably ever carry a zero balance.
But if they
Yeah.
Pay it
did
off
for a
and
whole
then-
month,
Yeah, you
and
can
then
pay
we
it all
saw the
off,
zero
and it would
due,
Like, just so
show
you know,
that.
Rob,
and then they charge
those
it up
folks-
after
Wait,
you
hold on.
pull the credit. Do you
Mhm.
check it again right before closing?
We will, but we won't take
But
it.
we won't,
It doesn't help
it's
for
a soft kind
qualification.
of
Yeah,
check.
so have them get to a zero balance right before you pull their credit. That could make them qualify for 100,000 more.
No,
Heck,
not you. I mean, the credit
Yeah.
card, people that are paying
And
their
then
credit
charge
cards
up their
off,
credit again.
they're
Yeah.
not that.
You can't.
Like, they're not.
Well,
not
okay,
being
so-
qualified because of credit cards.
There are
What I just
limitations.
heard, what was interesting is, I'm trying to get my United Miles, points, right? So
Yeah,
my entire life is on a credit card. And then when I get my statement, I pay it off. But I'm always having a balance because it's always constantly putting stuff on there. And so
Before the statement comes
on
out.
my credit report, it would say, yeah, you have $4,000 balance. No, like at any given time. So,
Pay it off right before the statement
You
comes
just
out.
need a higher limit.
but you have to have the credit report
It's-
adjust to
it's
zero.
impossible to time it.
It really.
Oh,
is.
but,
You're not-
but so if you're working with a buyer, you need to tell them if you do that,
Yeah.
right? Like if you have this conversation about the buying power,
Manipulate it.
then yeah, you need to
The
tell
chances
them.
are, if you're playing it that way, it's not like your credit, I mean, if you're 795 or 815,
You get, they're,
you're
yeah.
still gonna
You're
be
gonna be
fine
okay.
at
Won't adjust it
795.
enough.
I'm not talking about the credit
You're talking
score.
about buying
That's
power.
it.
I mean, you got a high score. They know what
Yeah.
It's the payment.
Well, yeah, but you have.
They
a
might
score-
say
but
you-
usually when you have a score like that, those are people that are paying their balances off, right? Like you.
That's why
Okay.
your credit score
It's
gives you
not-
the.
If it ever becomes an issue, then we'll work through that. We're like, okay, we'll do a rapid rescore, but then there's some caveats around that too. But
Okay.
and it costs money to do that.
I'm talking about if it shows up on the credit report, it says it's a $500 payment. That
Oh, yeah.
decreases me by $100,000 buying power potentially.
Yeah, kind of around that number, but.
So the
Does it
last,
show up
just to
like that on
get
the credit
what,
So
what
plan
Rick
it.
said,
You have to plan ahead.
my last rescore that I did for one of my
Yes.
loan officers, one of their clients, my bill for it was $620 something.
Just for the rescore.
credit report, rescore, all the garbage just to get them where they needed to be to buy. But we can't charge the borrower that because we could only charge them what we disclosed originally.
That's right.
Okay.
And if you
So
didn't
we
know
have
that
to
up
be-
front,
Oh, so you guys
So-
pay the cost of the
We
we
resort?
have to.
How much was it?
$620 something.
So if you have like a couple of clients, so yeah, that's a,
Sucks.
yeah.
It does suck.
So I have a
Those are
trick
the Russian
that
clients.
we could do.
I guarantee you.
Let's say we have a
They're
first time
Russian.
home buyer or just a home buyer and we don't want to affect their purchase power and stuff. And they go, yeah, we do have, $5,000 on a credit card. And we know that that's going to affect their buying power, maybe their credit score a little bit, but who cares? I mean, they're still good. But could I tell them, go increase your limit to, instead of a $10,000 limit on your card, go increase it to 20,000,
Potentially.
right?
That's
that
what
was
that
the
is.
wrong-
And then
Takes
it would
time for
help.
that to reflect.
Okay, would that help
Not-
them?
Score it.
Not immediate, it'll help the score.
Why would it help your score? Like, if you have huge credit
Utilization.
limit, you
Utilization.
can't be above 50% of whatever your max
You-
is.
30 is the-
It takes your credit down
30 or below?
Yeah.
if
If you're
you,
10% or below it.
yeah, if you have $5,000, but you have a $10,000 limit, you're 50% ratio of that, and it takes your credit down.
There used to be companies.
So they give you a higher interest rate and crap.
You can't do this anymore.
That is
but back in the
that
day,
is not a.
I could make a call to a company and And then,
sustainable
like, if you had
strategy.
good,
There's
if you had
good debt
good
and
credit,
bad debt.
you could sell it the ability to add an authorized user onto your credit.
That too.
So, like, we had companies, we could call and be like, shit, we got a 580, we need a 620. Hey, can I borrow your credit? I'm gonna add Joe Smith to it. Joe Smith gets added to it, you rescore it, now he's got a 780 and you get this credit score. It is amazing. You can't do it
Unbelievable.
anymore. I mean,
I
that was-
certainly
this
can
is-
see why you can't do that.
Yeah. Totally.
You can't do that anymore.
But you
So
could
what's,
back in the day,
Joe's
yeah,
number?
yeah.
Oh, but I'm talking about now.
So, yeah, no.
They
right
could
now-
increase their limit, so now it
Yeah.
looks like
But
they only have a
like Rick
25%
said,
ratio.
It takes time for that algorithm to catch up.
Mhm.
And so usually when you're making changes like that, that algorithm is 6 months
Yeah.
before you see impact.
takes
So
score.
I have a question. I'm constantly saying you can increase your credit all the time, and I never do. Sometimes I lower it because I thought your credit was impacted negatively if you have all this credit opportunity
It's not.
on every one of your
It's
cards.
how you manage it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's your balance to, it's balance to availability ratio.
Want the availability high.
And is it true you're not supposed to close them?
That's
No,
correct.
do not close.
If you paid everything on time.
Right.
Yeah.
Time they're open.
So you're,
Yeah, don't
you're,
close
the time you're open, I mean, I can give you a chart
Yeah.
of the, you know, what goes into your credit score, but part of that is your credit history, so the longer the credit history, and I've got a credit card that I opened in college.
Yeah.
I
Me too.
don't use it, but
Right.
I use it once a year, put a tank of gas on it, you know, something
Yeah.
like that, and then that feeds into that algorithm in your
That
credit
you're at least
history.
using.
So,
Yeah.
so what's more value, or are they like percentage wise? Like if you have, let's say someone makes like $500,000 a year, and they have
Doesn't matter.
seven, doesn't matter.
I got the worst ones are the people that are doctors. They're the shittiest credit.
That is true.
I don't need to pay my bills, and their credit sucks.
So what if they pay all their bills, and the only debt they have would be like the running credit card month to month kind of thing? So they should still have the max like limits on their
Right,
credit cards?
get that
Yeah,
util-
crank 'em
get
up.
it up.
Two or three revolving accounts and one, you know, normal payment account is 1 or 2 of those.
Installment loan.
You'll have, you get 1 or 2 installment loans, you're gonna have perfect credit.
But what about the
Rest
hit you
of your life.
take when you request an increase?
Yeah.
When someone pulls your credit, it's 2 to 4 points is what I tell folks.
It's
So
when you
it's
get
more valuable
multiple
to have
people
an
pulling credit,
increase.
like for cars and stuff, that you'll feel that.
Yeah, so, and it's supposed to, like, the law is like, if Rick pulled a credit report today, within that 30-day window, 100 people could pull your credit without another negative impact to your score. It didn't used to be like that.
Oh, I thought.
It used to be like 4
there was a
points every
story, like,
time.
where they go shopping for cars and they let like 5 dealerships
Yeah.
pull their credit.
It's not supposed to do that anymore.
Oh.
I don't know, I can't speak to the car side, but our
Okay.
side, it doesn't.
Okay.
Not
So
on
if,
your side,
if
but
you
on-
pulled one today and I pulled one tomorrow, we're gonna get
Same.
identical.
We'll get the same score pretty
Yeah.
So, like, I have like a airline credit card that says every time I use it, like really almost like every other month, it goes, your credit score has changed.
That's just
Yeah.
so they'll
It'll do-
sign up for their
it'll
credit,
do it
like
daily.
their little monitor.
I mean, really, you go buy a burger and it's gonna
Yeah.
change.
Don't sign up for Credit Karma or any of that crap.
Yeah.
You're just selling your data.
Oh, I think it's
Yeah.
great. I think Credit Karma is
use
great. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I do.
Just know when your clients say, oh, I've got a
It's
605
not
credit
a-
score.
not
yeah.
true.
It's close.
It's a
It is
different
not. Depends on
algorithm.
I
who
have
it
like
is.
a free one with my checking account. Like,
They're
that
all
I-
these consumer
I don't-
scores are different algorithms than what he
It's
and I
called a
are.
Vantage credit score, not a FICO score.
Oh.
Mortgage weighted,
Right.
that's why they're different.
And
Guys, I'm
how
gonna
are they
head out.
different?
Sorry. It's been a pleasure. I'm sorry
to
you guys
meet
don't
you.
see me. Rob, Scott, you guys
That's
are amazing.
okay. We'll see you.
I've been with
on-
these guys for like 10 years, but I've always worked 2 jobs, so I'm kind of like not. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys
No
very
problem.
much.
More
Thank
of
you.
her when the
Nice to
market's
meet
good.
you.
About a year or 2.
Right.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate
Go
you.
sell
Rob,
us
thank
some
you.
Russians. Go
I'll
sell some
go
Russians
with the
somehow.
Russians. I got this. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
You guys were talking about credit. If
Yeah.
oh, I had
So what
a
if
question
they,
about
what
that.
if somebody automatically closes a credit card because you haven't used it? Does that also
But I mean-
affect you
You
negatively?
lose that history.
Yeah.
That's
Is
why
that all
they
it
tell
does
you
is
never.
lose the history? Like, what if I have one I don't use anymore and it has a fee? Like, it changes
Oh, I
like
would,
a sky mile.
that's up to you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
totally
mean,
up to
and
you.
I'm not.
So every time my wife walks into a store, and buy something that has a, J. Jill credit card.
Yeah, extra 20 off.
Yeah, 25% off.
Don't
What?
do it.
I'm like, don't stop, all right, stop. You got a stack of credit cards.
Yeah, and you can't close them.
And she goes, well, I paid it off.
So that's the
So
cycle.
so-
you get a credit, you get a ding on your credit for the credit inquiry.
Uh-huh.
You max it out, the $100 that she bought in.
Well, she
whatever.
pays it. It's not like.
Yeah, but it's still,
But,
yeah.
but right there, so
It's your
like,
usage.
you
Excessive
max it
use.
out, you pay it off, then you close it so that it feeds into that
Every time she
algorithm.
goes into, you can have
$50.
3
It'll kill your
Shields credit
credit
cards. And so,
She's got a problem.
Yeah. man, when she hears 25%, her eyes turn
She's
red,
like,
and it's like,
let me tell you.
don't ever say 25% to her again. What's wrong with you, lady?
When I used to teach credit classes, we would do that math, and it would, like, you'd look at the interest you pay over time in the difference between a 6% and a 6.5% interest rate, and it is never worth that 25%.
No.
Well, I mean, we're not paying anything.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like,
But,
that's, but with people,
But
that's
once
their.
in a while you'll forget and screw up, and then that.
But what's
empties it all
happened
out.
is, but she never uses it again.
Well, that's true, then you have to start.
What happens is they, after they're dormant for like a year and a half, they send something and it says either use it or lose it,
Mhm.
and just they close it.
Right.
So I
You're
don't know if
opening
there's.
yourself up for identity theft also, I think, every
I
time you
think
do.
so too.
Oh yeah, we had our son
bring
when
her
he was
in, we'll
born.
talk.
Somebody
Yeah.
took his social security number and tried to open up an account when he was born.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we got some sort of alert. We didn't sign up for anything. I forget how my wife found out. And we're like, holy shit, like,
Yeah.
it really does happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had my identity stolen.
They gave it back though.
They gave it back with
I knew that was coming, you saw it.
with a 20.
That's what I always used to say to them. Anyone kidnaps me,
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, here,
The 20
take
minutes,
20
they
bucks
gave
to
me
get
20
it back.
bucks.
I don't want this identity. Okay, so what about if you're shopping for a car and you go to 3 different places and they pull credit reports or whatever, and then you're like, I think I'll buy a house, and you guys pull a credit report. Does that go against them that they've been shopping for a
Is that Ford
car?
thing?
Yeah, if it shows up, it could, but not that they shop for it, but it dings the score. But I would say if you're gonna buy a car, you all know this, go get approved at your bank or whatever,
Yeah.
and then go buy
Don't
the
shop
car.
at the
Don't do it at the
dealer.
dealership.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Walk
people
in
do
with-
all the
It's just
time.
like buying a house, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That kind of ding recovers in 3 or 4 months, don't you think?
it's sooner. No,
Yeah.
depends on
Well,
how many dings.
It's an inquiry.
3 to 6
And I don't know,
months. I always tell
I've
people 3 to 6
never had them do the loan paperwork until it's like, this is my car and I'm buying it. I'm gonna do this, you know what, I'm gonna go look at a Ford.
You're not the average Joe, though.
Although,
Yeah.
is
Oh,
when they were offering
thank you.
0% financing, and
I
that was
guess.
that was nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
back in 21, 22, whatever.
Yeah, nobody was buying cars because they
Yeah.
couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I bought that truck. I'm like,
They
shh,
didn't have
I'm
a
gonna buy it
job.
now. It's free money.
Free money.
Okay. You were talking about scams, and it just reminded me of a scam that happened to me yesterday. So I'm waiting for this new bill to close, and I get an email that says, and I just emailed the title company, said send me the closing docs, wire us the money, email, because it was in Denver. So I get this email, says, here's your settlement statement.